Hey all, welcome back to my channel. So today we will talk about the best practices for Java coding without any wasting time. So whenever you are creating a framework, we need to ensure that it is clean, it is efficient, and it is maintainable. So because as soon as you keep on adding few more cases, the framework will become bulky, and then if the new person joins, it should not be looking so messy. So here are a few tips you can do that. So let's jump into that. So next we will go to proper logging thing. So it's a bad practice if you just put in system out.println. So it's not a good way you do the logging. It's better we utilize the tool like slf4j or log4j and put logging with logger.info instead. Okay, now handling the exception. So it's always recommended to handle the exception. So if anything went wrong, user should know what error has occurred. So debugging becomes easy, right? So here in the example, you say the first example I used only cache. There is nothing, no statement, no logging. And the good practice one, I have put the logger.error. So if we get any error, we will get okay, the error is occurred or whatever error you have to show, you can write it. Next, separation of concerns. So you will see if you are writing a complete test class and you are writing business logic, data access part, UI, everything in the test. That's not a good practice. It's better to have separate classes for each component if you are writing an automation framework. For example, here in this, I have created a method which is doing a business logic, validating an email, and then connecting to database, and then even the UI logic. Everything is implemented in the same class, same method. So we should avoid such thing. Instead, we can follow such a structure. So for saving data, we can have a separate class. For user services, for business logic, we can have one more class, and for UI layer, we can have another. So in this way, uh, your code will look more readable, and you are going to adhere the solid principles, okay, to ensure better scalability and readability. So in future, if some UI component we need to write, we can utilize this UI layer, right? Coming to the concept of encapsulation, so I am hoping that everyone aware of the OPS concept. So here, instead of just defining a string and assigning the value directly, it's better to use getter and setter. So for example, in this example, what we have used in order to retrieve the value for name, we have used the get method, and we have made our variable as private so that nobody can do anything directly interact with variable. Like we can use a public method to do the interaction and use getter and setters. Also, assuming you are doing an API testing and we want to test that the code should be 200, and right, simply if we are writing status equal to 200, again, not a good practice. It's better any constant magic number, we should first define them. Maybe we can call this as http-ok and then assign this value and then do the comparison. We can use optional for assigning the null value so that we can avoid the null pointer exception. Next thing is avoid overusing inheritance. So we should not do this. So let's assume if you are extending law, you are extending the classes which are base class and to your subclass every time. So now you have to, you it becomes a rigid. Now you cannot use multiple inheritance here. Like I want to, it's like a tight coupling, right? It's better to have the composition. So in this example, like what it has done, you have the interface, and from that interface, I created two class: regular work, manage, and management work. We wrote the same method work, and we have overridden it, and now a new class has been introduced with both which can utilize both work behavior and as well as the regular work and management work. So in this way, if you can see how clean our code is, now we have better reusability, and even we have reduced the coupling. So classes are now less dependent on fixed hierarchy. So making the system more modular and easier to maintain. Moving to enum. So in previous example also we studied, right? So if you have some known values which is going to come, so it's better you use enum. Like in the enum you can define all the status. So instead of directly assigning okay status for this example, you can have an enum called okay error pending and anything else, and then you can have this value used like status dot okay. So this is a very good way you can create your framework with. Also, again, we should use a proper naming convention. Assuming that there is a retry count, you should not use normal variable. At least user should know, it should be meaningful. So an example, like I assigned a equal to 100, but better you can write is max retry count because we are retrying 100 times, two times, three times, like that. Testing and debugging is one more thing. So it's better you have your unit test using the generator test ng, and you should be using the logging framework for debugging purpose. Code review and collaboration, very, very important. It's always good to do peer review. So it doesn't matter how much experience you are. If you're writing your code, it should be reviewed by your peers or by seniors. So to make it more better and robust, we can even use tools like Sonar Cube, Spotless, and there are many tools for even formatting, right? So if you Google, you will get to know many tools available. The most famous one is Sonar Cube, and even I heard GitHub Copilot nowadays that also um, runs over your code and analyze if there are any issues. Okay, and ensure that you are maintaining proper documentation. And the way we should write code, it should also be having a good performance. Like instead of using two for loop, three for loop, maybe you can have a solution with hash maps, which will take less time. So in this example, just adding number using this sum operation for the string, maybe this can be more better written as using string builder. And here I can use the append function. So like avoid premature optimization, focus on clean designing. So maybe we can use string builder for concatenation instead of using this plus operator. Security, very important, and we should always have a validation check for SQL injection. You can use environment variables for sensitive data, use secure libraries for cryptographic operation. Even you can use security variables in the Git repositories like GitHub and GitLab. So here in the example, you can see that.